Hi guys, how's it going? So my name is Niobi. I'm taking the AWS CCP Certified Cloud Practitioner course with ALX. Actually, I just took the exam and I passed, but I wanted to record the labs for basically myself to see my progression or my growth, and for you as well who is taking the labs and is probably finding some difficulty. We can go through it, and then if you find any mistakes that you made, or just want to get a brief overview, this video should help. So I'm going to go through everything, and I'll probably make like a playlist of all the other labs and some other labs that I tackle. So stay on this channel, I guess, or whatever happens. So yeah, ideally for the labs, especially if you're reading with instructions, you need two screens, but if you have just one, it's fine. So let's just read through what we have here. So first is the introduction to AWS IAM. Um, so AWS Identity and Access Management is a web service that enables AWS customers to manage their user permissions. You can centrally manage users' security credentials such as access keys and permissions which control the resources. So basically this is the architecture we're going for. Yeah, so we're going to, we're going to be exploring pre-created IAM users and groups, inspecting the IAM policies applied to the groups, real-world scenario, adding users to groups with specific capabilities enabled, locating and using IAM sign-in URL, experimenting with the effects of policies on service access. So basically, there are some pre-created users and everything in here, and so if you want to do any other thing in the environment, it may not work because this is specifically to help us understand this. All right, so I won't recommend going and experimenting until like you are done and you've submitted it and you know that you are done. Then you can play around with it, but I don't think a lot of things will work in the lab scenario. Yeah, basically what IAM can be used for: manage users access, manage roles and permissions, manage federated users and their permissions. So this lab should take about 40 minutes to complete. And so again, if you don't have two screens, it's fine. I'll show you what you need to do. So first we need to click on Start Lab. So I'm not going to edit the video at all, so that if there are any breaks or any length of time that is missing, basically you would know that, okay, I just need to wait, or if there was any problem I ran into, I would keep them in the video so that you can see, okay, if I ran into this problem, I'm fine, or this is how I can work around it. So the timer over here, basically we have 2 hours to be in this lab before it will shut down. So if you waste too much time and you don't finish the lab, or you finish the lab or something and the timer runs out, when you start doing something, it won't work properly. I don't know how to explain it. You probably have to reach there and see. I fell asleep when I was doing one of the labs, and so then time ran out and I couldn't figure out what the problem was until I saw the timer had run out. So this should take a couple of minutes. When this turns green, then we click on it and to open the lab environment. Yeah, to connect to the management console. So yeah, basically that's the instruction. Then this is how to get credit for your work. After the lab, we click on submit. It will generate a report and give us our grades and see if we did well. It should take about 3 minutes for the environment to be ready. So we're just gonna sit here for 3 minutes. You can skip ahead if you want. So while we wait for the labs, I'm just going to read through a couple of the things we need to do. So in this task, you will explore the users and groups that have already been created for you in the IAM. In IAM, in the search box, we'll search for IAM to the navigation pane to users. I think reading through it, I would rather we do the work while we read through it. So let's just be patient and wait 1 more minute and the lab would be ready. Okay, so you can see it's green, so you can click on it and it will open the lab environment. So again, like I said, if you don't have two screens, don't be too bothered by this. All you have to do is just separate them, and I would do this and have this here. Okay, so this should work. Nope, not this way. Give me a second. Nope. Okay, so this should be, I guess, big enough for us to see what we're reading and then do the work. So let me make myself smaller. Yep, so we can read more. All right, cool. So this is the lab environment that we're going to be working in. So let's just go through, let's just start from the beginning. So we'll explore the IAM groups and the users that have been created. All right, so in the search box, well, we search for IAM services. You can just click it here directly in recent visits, or just type IAM and you'll see that's where it comes. Then in the navigation pane on the left, choose users. So here we are. Then we could see this user 1, 2, 3, and this, I don't know what this is doing here. Honestly, I don't know if it's just mine or it's anyway, but I don't want to touch anything. I don't have the mental capacity to figure out what's happening. So basically, yeah, in the navigation pane that users have been created, choose one, user 1. This will bring a summary page for user 1, permissions. Okay, so choose them. All right, there's the summary page. Notice user 1 doesn't have any permissions. So if you check the permissions policies, you can see it has no permissions over here, right? And it's also not a member of any groups. That's if you go to the groups tab, it's also not a part of any group. Choose security credentials tab. Yeah, right here. And it's assigned a console password. So you can see that it has a console password updated 5 minutes ago. That is at the time of when the lab environment was created, basically. In the navigation pane on the left, choose user groups. There we are. And then you can see these have already been created: EC2 admin, EC2 support, and S3 support. So choose EC2 support group link. Where are you? All right. Choose the permissions tab. Yep. The group has a managed policy associated with it. It's called Amazon EC2 read-only access. You can see that managed policies are pre-built policies built either by AWS or administrators that can be attached to IAM users and security and user and groups. Sorry, when the policy is updated, the changes to the policy are immediately applied against all users and groups that are attached to the policy. I think it's self-explanatory. Choose the plus icon, this one. Yep. To view the policy details. All right. So I don't do any code at all. So we'll have to you can either put this, just copy this into ChatGPT to explain it for you, or you could just read what they've written here because it pretty much explains it. But if you want to understand exactly what each part of the code does, you could just put it into ChatGPT to explain every part of the code. But yeah, basically it says a policy defines what actions are allowed or denied specifically for specific AWS resources. This policy is granting permission to list and describe information about EC2, elastic load balancing, CloudWatch, and autoscaling. This ability to view resources but not modify them is ideal for assigning it to a support role. The basic structure of the statement in an IAM policy is effect says whether to allow or deny permissions. Action specifies the API calls that can be made against an AWS service. The resources defines the scope of the entities covered by the policy rule. Yeah, example, the S3 bucket, blah, blah. So choose the minus to hide it. So I mean, if you observe, maybe I should increase the, I don't know if this is big enough. I usually like my screen tiny, but yeah. Anyway, so you can see effects are allowed, allow. You can see the action is the elastic load balancing, CloudWatch, metrics, and it's allowing everything. All right. In the navigation pane on the left, we choose user groups again. Choose S3 support. S3 support has Amazon read-only access attached. Oh yeah, the permissions tab. So we have to go to the permissions tab and we see, yep, it's right here. Read-only access permissions attached. Choose the plus icon to view the policy details. This policy grants permissions to get lists and to get and list resources in Amazon S3. So you can see what the code is doing to get and list the resources in the Amazon S3, like it says. All right, choose the minus to hide it. Okay, in the navigation pane on the left, choose user groups again. And the next one we're going to go through is the EC2 admin. And there you see that if you choose the permissions tab, it has the EC2 admin policy. So this group is slightly different from the other two. Instead of a manage policy, it has an inline policy, which is a policy assigned to just one user or group. Inline policies are typically used to apply permissions for one-off situations. Choose the plus sign to see again. You can see what the statement is. All right. This policy grants permission to view or describe the information about the EC2 and also the ability to start and stop instances. Yep, and then now we hide it. So a business scenario. For the remainder of this lab, you'll work with these users and groups to enable permission supporting the following business scenario. Your company is growing its use of Amazon Web Services and is using many Amazon EC2 instances and a great deal of Amazon S3 storage. You wish to give new staff access to the new staff depending on their job function. So user 1 would be in the S3 support group with only read-only access to Amazon S3. User 2 would be in EC2 support with the same permissions, and user 3 will be in EC2 admin with view, start, and stop Amazon EC2 instances permissions. So second task. You have recently hired user 1 into a role where they will need to provide support for Amazon S3. You will add them to the S3 support group so they will inherit the necessary permissions via the Amazon S3 read-only access policy. You can ignore any not authorized errors that appear during this task. They are caused by your lab account having limited permissions, right? So again, because the lab environment has been limited, a couple of other things that you may try to do may not work because you'll not be authorized. All right, so we're going to start working now. In the left pane, choose user groups. So we're going back. Yeah, choose the S3 support group link. Where is it? Yep. Choose users. I'm already here. And in the users tab, choose add users. Okay, so you can see in the add users to S3 support, configure the following. User 1 at the bottom of the screen and add users. So we just go to user 1 and then we click on add users. Perfect. So in the users tab, you will see that user 1 has been added. If yours is not reflecting, just click on refresh. And you might need to do that, especially a lot in more of the upcoming labs, because it takes a while for some things to work or to show that have happened. All right, so yeah, we're done with this. So adding user 2. So you have hired user 2 in a role where they will provide support for Amazon EC2. So using similar steps to the one above, add user 2. So we'll go to user groups and then add user 2 to EC2 support. So we'll go to EC2 support, add users, and then we'll add user 2. All right, perfect. Refresh if yours is not reflecting. So user 2 should now be part of EC2, and now user 3 should be, you have hired user 3 as your Amazon EC2 administrator who manages your EC2 instances. Using similar steps above, add user 3 to Amazon EC2 admin group. User 3 should now be part. Okay, so we'll just go back to user groups, EC2 admin, and then we click on add users, and then we go to user 3. You can add user 3. All right, and then navigation group. So if you go back to the user groups, you can see now that everybody has one user, right? Let's see. Yeah, and they all have their permissions defined. Now we're going to the third task of this. All right, on this task, you will test the permissions of each IAM user. In the navigations panel on the left, choose dashboard, sign in URL for IAM users in this account or link to. Alright, so in the navigations panel on the left, where is it? Yeah, choose dashboard. A sign in URL, so we'll take this one. The link can be used to sign to a new. So we'll copy this link into a text editor and we'll open it with any window of your choice. Ideally, just use an incognito mode. And so I will do Control-Shift-N for Chrome to give you an incognito tab, and we'll just paste the link over there. And now if you've done that, this is where you're going to find. Let's put this back there properly. All right. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, but okay, that's fine. Oh, nope. Okay. All right, maybe this should. All right, so we're good. Okay, so when you're done and you're here, this is a new login basically. So paste the IAM user group into the address bar of your private browser like we just did and press enter. Next, you will sign in as user 1 who has been hired. So user 1, just copy and drag it here, or just copy and paste it. I'm just feeling lazy today. And drag the password in there and sign in. Okay, in the search box to the right of services, choose S3. Now you could type it or you can find it here, but let's just type it here since that is what the lab asked for. And so you could also see, more resources. choose the name of the bucket that exists. Let's just decline this. Save preferences. Okay. Yeah, choose S3. Okay, so choose the name of the bucket that exists in the accounts and browse the content. Since your user is part of the S3 support group in IAM, they have permission to view a list of Amazon buckets and the content. The bucket does not contain any objects. Now test whether they have access. How do we do that? Okay, in the search box next to the left of services, search for and choose, I guess, EC2. Hold on, did I miss something? S3. Choose the name of the bucket that exists. Is it this one? I want to choose this one. Honestly, come on. Okay. Look at the existing account since your account is part of this one. No, the bucket does not contain. Okay, so we're just supposed to see that it doesn't contain any objects. Okay, so that's why we came here. So we can go to buckets. We can see this is the bucket. And now test whether you have access to Amazon EC2. So okay, so we're done with checking to see that there is nothing in the buckets. There's no object in the bucket. So now we'll look for EC2. All right. And the left navigation pane, choose instances. So we could just click here, or you could just click the instances over there, but okay. You cannot see any instances. Instead, you see a message that states you are not authorized to perform this operation, like it just popped up here. This is because the user has not been granted any permissions to access EC2. You will now sign into user 2, who has been hired as your Amazon EC2 support person. So sign user 1 out of the AWS Management Console. So basically, we're done with the first guy, or with user 1. So we'll sign out, and then paste the IAM user into your private browser. So we'll have to do it again. Cool. And then we'll sign in again as user 2. Yep. All right. So if you didn't save it, or you copied the link up here, but you didn't use it, if you're on Windows, you could just do Windows V, and to open your clipboard, and when you see the clipboard, you can see that the link is in here, so you can just click it. So if you copied, for instance, the password, which is lab2, and you click, oops, give me a second. Let's say, for instance, I copy this, and then, oh, the phone. Anyway, that's just by the way. I don't know why it's not popping up, but yeah, just sign in. Okay, in the search box to the right, okay, so you can see that already we are being denied some stuff. Alright, so in the search box to the right, search EC2 instances. So we've already gone through that, so you can just click on the EC2 from here, since it's already shown here. And choose instances. There we go. You are now able to see an Amazon EC2 instance because you have read-only permissions. However, you will not be able to make any changes to the Amazon EC2 resource. If you cannot see an Amazon EC2 instance, then your region may be incorrect. So you need to check the region to make sure that you are in United States, North Virginia, US East 1. Yeah. Okay. So select the instance named lab host. So select lab host. Cool. In the instance state menu, so that is here, choose stop instance. Let's click that. So then click on stop. So you can see we failed to stop. So you receive an error stating you are not authorized to perform this function. This demonstrates the policy only allows you to view the information without making any changes. Alright, so choose the X to close this. Now, and next, check if user 2 can access Amazon S3. So let's just go up here, type S3. Okay. You will see the message you don't have any permissions to list buckets because user 2 doesn't have permissions to access Amazon S3. So just come here and hold up. I think you just choose general purpose buckets. You can see access denied. If you come to table buckets, you can see you don't have permission to list table buckets. So you don't have permission to list buckets. Perfect. All right. You will now log in. You now sign in as user 3 who has been hired as your Amazon EC2 admin. So we have to log out of user 2 again and then log back into these guys. So sign out. And again, if you have your thing, yep, do it again. Oops. Just user 3, allow password 3. Sign in. Okay, in the search box to the right of the services, search for and choose EC2. So you could just click it from here. In the pane on the left, choose instances. As an EC2 admin, you should now have permissions to stop Amazon EC2 instances. So select the instance named lab host. So just wait a bit. All right, that's up. Click on lab host. All right. If you cannot see an instance, then your region again. So check your region if you don't find it. So go to instance states, stop instance, and then tell them to stop. The instance will enter into a stopping state and will start shutting down. So you can see it just changed from running to stopping and will shut down. So then we can close your private browser window. So let's just refresh this first. Okay, so you can see it has stopped, right? So we can close the window. To record your progress, choose submit. So let's just submit this. And this actually took us less than the 40 minutes that I think we're supposed to have. So it's submitting. Submission recorded. Come on, come on. 35 out of 40. Okay, so what did we miss? So hold on, let me think. Right. Interesting. So task 3, user 3 EC2 stop instance attempt. What did we miss? I don't think we missed it. I think we did it and the code is not working, but let's just see what we might have missed because garbage in, garbage out. So I don't think it missed anything. I think we made a mistake. So let's just see. Where's task 3? Cool, sign in test. And task 3 said we did what exactly? User 3 EC2 stop instance attempt. So we didn't record this for some reason because we are in user 3 and we did the stop instance attempt. So let's refresh this and then let's submit again. Now we have 40 out of 40 without doing anything. So again, sometimes the code messes up and you just have to refresh so that I can see, okay, you actually did this. I mean, they did tell us to close the browser. We're just stubborn, so we didn't close it. So maybe that contributed to it, but hey, that is it for the first lab. Where is it? Okay, so close your private window. Okay, so when we're done with the submission and everything, now we click on end lab. So yeah, perfect. So then it stopped and we're done. And so we successfully completed the first lab, introduction to AWS IAM. And so what we have successfully done is we've explored pre-created IAM users and groups. We've inspected IAM policies as applied to pre-created groups. We followed the real-world scenario. Adding users to groups with specific capabilities enabled. We located and we used IAM signing URL. We experimented with the effects of policies on service access. Okay, so we're good. I hope this helped, and I'll see you on the next one.